You.
Is there anything as an incompetent villain? Because I remember reading one story. Has anyone ever read the Septimus Heap trilogy or storyline? I can't remember the name off, but basically the main villain is, I guess, would be considered incompetent because he can't get anything done right.
Like I said, one of my favorite animated series, and it's not an anime, but the villain is pretty incompetent. And so, like, every episode, you don't even expect the bad guy or the good guys to have a hard time of it. But the good guys are so entertaining because they're like bros, and they're kind of like Thor and his buddies. If you've seen the Thor movie, where he's just got his cronies and they just go around and be stupid together. So they're interesting by themselves. So the villain doesn't have to be bad. But there's an anime about that pretty much the main character is a villain that's incompetent, and it's called Excel Saga.
Yes.
And it's very entertaining. She's the bad guy. She's a henchman. So, you know, and that's, you know, you do whatever is entertaining. You and then you.
Speaking of incompetent villains, Wheatley from Portal 2. Who's ever played that?
That was a big spoiler.
There's nothing. The thing is, once again, consistency. If the villain is incompetent, they should always be incompetent. If the villain is scary, the villain should be scary till the bitter end.
The villain in any book series or even the book series I write, they're always my favorite character because as much as you can make a good hero is easy. A good villain is something I have to respect the authors for making a good villain.
Good villains are hard to write sometimes. Like I said, some people just really have a hard time thinking the evil thoughts, you know, trying to get to the head of horrible people.
When I write a villain, I try to make the villain like a complete monster. Like, I want my readers to feel hate towards that person. Like, respect them as a villain, but hate them as much as they possibly can.
And that's actually a good way to write. You think about a character and you think, what do I want my writers to feel? So you have your goal, you know, and so and it helps you be consistent. You're like, I need to always have this villain be doing something that's going to make my readers hate him. And it'll keep you on track. That's a really good way to think.
Yeah, like one of my villain here is, I actually told him, one of my guys couldn't support him, and he says, by the way, I kind of figured out how I'm going to kill him off. He says, oh man, because he just likes it that much.
Do it like the cartoons, they're never really dead. They're always...
Oh, he's dead.
Yeah, Superman. Superman never dies either. Yes?
But if you have, like, because in the original story I'm writing, I have my main villain who's like the super bad guy, and he's got all that really condescending, and then I have this kind of sidetrack, I guess I'd call him an antagonist, but he's somewhere in the middle. In the beginning, my main character absolutely loathes him, but then as time goes on, because they always have to be together, they just they just kind of change each other. What kind of character would you call that?
They usually call him kind of like the anti-hero, a bit, kind of like the Han Solo type character. Like, they're shady and they don't quite get along, but they come out and help. They're more on the side of the good guys than the bad guys. And I actually kind of like the shady good guy type character. Like, they're not evil, but they're not exactly helping, you know? And they're kind of fun. I think that's the word I'm thinking of, the anti-hero. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of stories where there's lots of characters that don't quite fall into a cliche type role, and ain't nothing wrong with that. You make it as original as you can. But like I said, the story has to need the character to be what they are, and the character has to have something to do, so that we don't get bored and we don't hate the character because they're useless. Because we hate useless characters. We all do. Anybody else? Yes. No. Yes. No. Yes. Yes. No.
I'm sure I'll think of one just a second.
What have we got? I'm so glad you guys asked questions. Last year I did this, nobody had a question, except for I mentioned Twilight, and they're like, I hate Twilight. And that was it. That's all I got. I have 2 more minutes.
If there's nothing else, I'd like to address her question from earlier.
Uh-huh.
So,
Okay, I will admit this freely. The reason I do fan fiction is because I am not creative. It helps me immensely as a writer to improve my writing if I have a baseline to work off of. So it doesn't really
Right.
like keep me, contained. Like I feel like I actually do better because I've already got that set already for me. Because I don't want to create my own world, my own characters. I just want to practice my writing and get better in general.
Or sometimes I just look at their world and I see I can build on it. And there's sometimes I see a little aspect like maybe of like a Grimby Wing, that teardrop the princess though, which is almost like a train wreck. But
Thank you.
I see some aspects of that and I
That's
say,
why understand the question.
hey.
Thank you for answering
I'm not
that.
sure if that was
I can
actually
use
your
this.
answer, but yeah, but that's how it is.
well, I think it's two aspects of creativity. It's creating your own one from out of nothing, create your own. And one, it's taking this existing world and adjusting it to fit your fic.
You had one?
Again, this is just kind of going off your earlier question. The reason why I write fanfic is the question of what if.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is
my
called,
favorite
that,
one. Okay.
What is the?
that's the primary.
Some of my favorite shows, they're like 20 years old. I want to see them do something new, and I'm never going to unless I write something or somebody else does, So, I don't know. It's fun, and it's also a way for people to bond. I like bonding over stories too, personally. It's a way to like share your love, and you find people who like the same things you do when you get into that stuff. And I really enjoy that too.
Bye-bye.
We're pretty much done. Thanks everybody for asking questions. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys learned some stuff.